start idle and then we can discuss the answers as well. Right, now few things I have noticed. Use of print function. Some of you still have some confusions. The reason is, now for example, if you say print just a number, you can type as it is. I hope everybody comfortable with. But if you want to print some message, yeah, you have to put it like this. And then if you combine multiple, right, you can put it like this. There's nothing error in this one. So in Python you can simply mix it. Only thing is it will print with a space, right? That part we have discussed. But if you want to have a control over how the number should appear, then you have to use the formatted output. The very first one we have discussed is use of string operator, which means we have price and then we'll have the format. For example, 1 decimal place we will represent like this, and then this string module operator and whatever the number, right? So this is what we have discussed, right? So depend on what you put here, right, then you will get different numbers. Okay. Hello. Oh. Oh. හරි මම මේක දාගන්න මට ඉවර තියෙන මම lecture එකේ ඉන්නේ මම ඉවරලා වාට ගන්න. හරි. හරි. Right. Okay. So this number 7 actually define number of digits we allocate to represent this number, which is helpful for you to, the output the way we want, right? And if you have like two values, like let's say we can have something like price is, let's say, 2 values. Let's say second one I'm going to have 1 decimal place. The first one I'm going to have this. So then you have to have 2 values. Remember, in 2 values we have to use within brackets like this. For example, 3.99, that's 999, comma, let's say second one is 4.35, right? So if I put it like this, you will get the answer like this. Right, okay, that's the first one that I want to discuss, use of string module operator. The second one is dot format. So if I use the very same thing, that means here, this one, using string dot format, we can use print, and always we have a print, right? And we can have this dot format, and we can say 3.99, right? So which will print the number as it is. So this will indicate, right, where to print. Right? So if you have 2 values, we can say print so we can have it like this, right? But then again, if you want to specify the place, we can put the number. I told you, like something called index, we can put it. If you put 0, will represent the first value, 1 represent the second value. So if you put it like this, it will print the number in the same order, because 0 means first value, 1 means second value. And if you want, you can change this. So we can have 1 and we can have 0, which will change the way the number prints. Right, now why I did this, because if you want to have the formatting, like if you want to limit number of decimal places, definitely you have to put the index value. So in this particular case we have only one value, and then we need to say that the formatting. So let me put 7.1f, which will give us the same outcome. So this is the second method where we can have output format. Third one, we have f string. So f string is slightly different, and I think it's the easiest one. You have f and then you put it as a string value like this, and whatever you want to put it inside, we can say okay, print, right, and then we can brackets you can put. So here instead of index you can have the value directly. So for example 3.99, and we can put 7.1f will give you the same answer. So I think if you look at the first method is string module operator, and the second dot format method, I think this is the latest one they have introduced in Python. We normally call Pythonian way of output, and which is the easiest. So the format is, you will have f string, meaning you put a f, and string notation, you know, the single quote denote the string, and then whatever you want to print, and whenever you need a formatting, you put it the value in the brackets with a colon with the format, right? So the value and then comes the format. So that's all you need to remember. So I think I hope give you the confused one. So I have seen about half of the class having issues with this one, but I guess by tomorrow you are going to get it correct, right? So I think we have covered everything. So I think we can start today's session, right? Now having said that, let's quickly go to where we have stopped. Let me open let's start. Right, okay. So remember I told you this module, actually we are going to cover the Python programming part, which aiming to learn machine learning. So this is not about machine learning, but what you need to learn machine learning, the Python basics. So we will be covering majority of the library that you need for machine learning. So the last 2 days we were looking at the basics and the input and output. Today we are going to start, today and tomorrow, we are going to look at control structures, basically sequence selection and repetition, how they are implemented in Python, right? So that's basically what we are going to do, right? Last time we discussed how to write a small script. Basically you get person's first name, last name, and the date of birth, and we output it, right? So this is the place I think where we have stopped, right? So what we did, if I quickly go through the summary of where we have stopped last time. So what we did, actually we wrote a small script, right? So in this particular case we'll write. So this is the code that we have learned, right? Okay, the second one is also we have completed, so which means we can directly start the second one. Okay, let me right. So we have done this last one. The second one also we have completed. So I will start with the second one. So we are getting two numbers from the user, and you see we use input function and convert into int values, and then we get the total, and then we have completed all the three methods that we have discussed, right? So if you remember the first one using f string, if you remember there's no formatting as such, so you just have variable names inside the f string. And dot format also we have no direct format, so that's why it's empty, only the brackets as a placeholder. Third one is string module operator, and this is like we assume that we are going to use int value, right? So that's why we have character D is used. So whenever we run, we get to ask enter values, and then when I put the two values, it will print nicely the output. So we have 3 lines because we have tried out all the 3 techniques. Okay, so that's what we did. Okay, let's move to today's one. Right, let's start looking at how we can represent control structures in Python, right? But before that, I'm going to introduce another data type, which we call Boolean data type, or in short in Python we say bool. Now what we have discussed so far is we discuss integers, whole numbers, floating point numbers, numbers with a decimal point, and then messages using string, right? In Boolean you have only 2 values, true, false. Now usually Python keywords are in simple letters or lowercase characters, but here it's in the first letter is capital, right? So the first letter is capital. Make a note of this because sometimes as a beginner you might confuse with this one, right? Okay, so if I quickly go to my shell, so what we could type, okay, you can type true. You see now it will change the color into orange, and that means Python recognize this as a valid value. Same goes with the false, but if you just say true, then Python interpreter will tell us that it is not defined. Same goes with false, right? So the type of true is bool type, or it's a class bool. Same goes with false, so make a note of this. That's the first thing that we need to learn today. So that's we call Boolean type. Now, after learning the Boolean type, why we are learning? Because we are going to use conditions. That means in control structures, we have to make selections. We have to make repetitions. Now, when you are making selection, you have to have some Boolean expression. So you ask a question which you will get the answer as either true or false. Now, for example, these days it's heavy raining. So in the morning, you can ask yourself, is it raining? If the answer is yes, you may take an umbrella. If it is no, if the weather looks good and your weather report says good, then you don't need an umbrella. So you make, in life, we make decisions. So similar goes here as well. So, which needs an answer of Boolean type, right? Now, Boolean expressions means you could have compare, expressions or some values. Now, for example, I can check whether 5 is equal to 3 plus 2. So you have a left hand side and right hand side. It's not just the equal sign. Whether it's a comparison operator, you are checking whether left hand side is equal to right hand side. So the 5 is it equal to 3 plus 2, which is indeed yes, we are getting true. Now similarly, if you check this, we are checking this time whether 5 is equal to 6. And the answer is false. Okay, audience. Now this time you need to answer this question. Right? Tell me the answer for this. Right? I want you to answer this one. So in this case, I will give you the statement and you are going to type me in the chat the correct answer. Right? So you are going to tell me the correct answer. Right. Now here is the what. Yes. Now can you tell me whether this is true or false? Yes? Is it true or is it false?
False.
Yes. Yes. I want you to type your answer in the chat. You can make a mistake, no problem. Type your answer in the chat. Okay. We have Visakha and then Prabhat, Nalin, Asela, Ishara, Indika. Yeah. So is it true or is it false? Right? Okay. Now remember, can we have addition with strings? Okay, it's not really addition. We use a special name for this. What is it? Anyone remember this?
Concatenate.
It's concatenating. It basically it glue these two together. So when you think that this is concatenation, when you glue these two parts, are we getting hello? Yes, if you glue these two together, are we getting hello? True, right? Why?
Yes.
If you put hell plus low, meaning this is a string concatenation, it combines and create the word hello. So it's true. Okay, right. Now let's get back. Right. So we discussed that, we can compare the values, especially when it comes to control structures. We have to have these, conditions to put. So for that, we need to discuss these comparison operators. So we need to check whether one value is less than another value. Similarly, we can check whether one value is greater than another value, right? That is the second operator. Third one, we are checking basically whether the first value is less than or equal to second value. And fourth one, we are checking whether the first value is greater than or equal to the second value. Then equal to we have seen, final one not equal to. So these are the comparison operators we are going to see. So let's have a quick run of some toy, values. Right, so let me start. So the first one, okay, we need to check whether the less than sign. So we are checking whether 5 is it less than 6, which is true, right? Right. If I put this 5 is less than 5, can you tell me, is it true or is it false?
False.
5, is it less than 5? No, right? Yes. You are answering using the chat. Good. Yeah, it's no. False. Okay. 5, is it less than or equal to 5? It is not less than but equal, right? Because these are two things. We are checking whether it's less than or equal. So should be true. Right? Similar goes with this one. If you check whether 5 is greater than 5, it's no. But if you ask 5, is it greater than or equal 5, then it's true, right? Right. 5 we have already discussed. This we have already discussed earlier. So the last one, 5. Is it not equal to 6? Okay, what is the output? Right. Okay, it's true, right? Because 5 is not equal to 6. The next one, we are going to have logical operations. Logical means when you have like comparisons like this, and if you want to combine these two comparisons together, there are different ways we can do. Now for example, I'm going to say, okay, 5 is less than 6 and yes, 5 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, any guesses what might be the outcome? Yes, what is the outcome? We are checking two values. First of all, we check whether 5 is less than 6. Yes. Then we check whether 5 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. So both expressions evaluate to true, which means the whole expression is also true. So how come this? So you know that when you check 5 less than 6, it's true, and 5 less than equal 5 is also true. So that means simply if you have true and true, yeah, we are getting true. What if one is false? True and false. Any guesses? One side true, or the other side false. When you say add, both should be true. So we are getting false. Now we'll switch. False and true. The answer will be the same. False and false. Yes, false. So make a note of this. If you have a true in any statement, both sides should be true. Both left hand side and right hand side should be true to evaluate the whole expression to be true. Okay, quick question. I will have this. 5 is not equal 6 and 5 less than 5. Yeah, can you tell me what the answer is? You can always use the chat. Yes, you have two sides. Check the left hand side. 5, is it not equal to 6? Okay, true, one side. The other side, 5 less than 5, no, false. Then we are getting false. Okay, that's good. Now similarly, right, I'm going to put this one again. 5, this is an O operator. 5 less than equal to 5. Yes, so we are checking whether 5 is less than 6 or 5 less than or equal to 5. Yes, it is true, which means this is true or true. We are getting true. So now take one false. True or false. Still true. Then false or true. Still true. Then false or false. Yes, we'll get false. So make a note of that. If you have O, if any of the expression evaluated true, then whole expression will be evaluated as true. Right. Now here is the question you to check. Right. Now I am going to check this. Can you give me the answer for this? Yes. It's 2, right? Why? This side is true. This is false. 1 is enough for whole expression to be true. Right. One last one. The not operator. Now if you have something like this, not true, then it's false. Not false, it's true. Okay, can you give me the answer for this? not 5 less than 5. Yes, not 5 less than 5. So when you check whether 5 is less than 5, yes, what we get? We'll get false. When you say not false, we are getting true. Okay, that's great. I think now we are comfortable, and I hope you have already know this if you have already done something. Okay, now can you tell me what is the expression of this? In simple terms, one side we are checking whether x is greater than 0 and x is less than 0. Isn't it? Right. So if I say x is 5, if I check this, x greater than 5 and x less than 10, can you tell me what the answer is? Yes? What is the answer? Let me change this to 0. This is what I want to type. Sorry, I put 5 here. Should be 0. So basically you are checking whether x is greater than 0 and less than 10, which is true, right? Because if you check 5, is it greater than 0? Yes. 5, is it less than 10? True. So you are getting this. So let me say x equal 10. Now can you tell me the outcome of this? Is it true or false? Yes. Naveem, what do you think? Okay, how about Nahil? What do you think about the answer?
It's false.
Yeah, it's false. Why false? We know this side is true, but this is not, right? So basically, the value will be true if the value is, right, between 1 to 9, right, including 1 and 9. Similarly, second one. What do you mean by this? Right? N is an arbitrary value. So for example, if we have like 4, we'll use this operator. Can you tell me what is the outcome of this? This is modulo operator. Modulo means remainder. So which basically you divide 4 by 2 and the remainder is, yes, it's 0. So if you put this, what is the outcome? You divide 4 by 2, remainder, is it 0? Yes, true. Right. Now, if I put something like this, n equals 4, and I will say n yes, what do you think? So n is 4. 4 divided by 2. Is it the remainder? Is it 0? Yes. You divide by 3. Is it 0? No. This is true or false, but you are getting true. So now I am going to say n is 6. What do you think about this expression now? Divide by 2 equal to 0? Yes. Divide by 3, the remainder, is it 0? Yes, both. How about if you have 5? Kasu? How about Asela? Prabhat? Yes, if it is 5, n is 5. You divide by 2, remained is 1. You divide by 3, remained is 2, which means false, false. So we are getting false. Right. Okay, the last one I think it's not difficult. So basically you can see whenever you want to combine, you can use AND, O and NOT. Okay, I think now we can go and look at control flow structures in Python. Now when you talk about the control flow structure, the first of all what we have discussed so far, we execute all the Python statements, which means we execute everything sequentially. Now there are other ways. Sometimes we need to branch, which means select based on some condition, or sometimes we may need to repeat the same set of statements. We call repetition. Now for that we are going to learn this part, 3 Python statements, that is if, for and while. Okay, so let's start. First we'll start with the if statement. Now if is used for selections. So there are 3 things I'm going to discuss, that is if, else and elif. Elif actually short form for else if. Right. Now let's say we are going to write a Python program to find absolute value of a number. So what do you mean by absolute value? Basically you are going to output the value without any sign. For example, if you enter 5, it will output 5, and if you input -5, still it says 5, because you value the value of the number, not the sign of the number. So if I put you the flowchart for this, now you have to get a number from the user, isn't it? And if it is a positive number, you don't have to do anything. You can print the number as it is. But if it is a negative number, then you want to make it positive. How do you make it positive, a negative number? Simple trick is we can multiply the number by -1. So if you are entering, let's say, -5, then basically you multiply -5 with -1, which will get the positive value or the absolute value. So in this selection, you see when the condition is true, then we perform some action. False, nothing will happen. Right? So this is the simplest if statement we can have. Right? So here we will check whether it's a negative number. How do you check whether it's a negative number? You simply check whether its number is less than 0. Okay, so let's start together, write a Python program for this. So I'm going to get a new window. I'm going to close, right? I'm going to new window, file, new file. And what I'm going to do is, so you can work with me, you can also write before me, and you can post your code in the chat if you finish before me. So let's see how many of you can finish before me, right? The first thing is we need to get a number from the user, right? So how do you do this? Let's see, I'm going to get number equals input, okay, some meaningful message, we can say enter number, right? Now that's the first step and it's straightforward, but only problem is if you type input, it will be a string value. So because of that, you have to convert this string value to either a decimal number or integer value or a floating point value. So I'm going to say int value for the easiness. Right. So now we got a number. Right. So let me save this file, save. Okay, so this is program number 5, absolute value, ABS. So if I run it, run module, it has a number. I can put 5, for example, right? Or else I can say -5. Right now nothing will happen. So right, the next one is we want to make it absolute value. So how do you do this? Okay, use if. It's a selection. If we can check whether the number is less than 0. Okay, in Python we have a colon, right? So basically here we will check the condition, number, is it less than 0, we are checking. And inside this we will have this. So you get the current number, right? And then you multiply with -1. So this is what you need to type. And that's all. And then you can come out, you can simply say, right, print number. Right, now one more thing, if you're wondering, if you learn other programming languages, there's no end if here. And this spacing here indicates that this statement is inside if. These spaces indicates that this Python statement is inside if. That's all. So this is called indentation, and indentation is very, very important in Python, right? So, and that's all. There's no false side. We don't have anything. Because of that, there's nothing comes in. So if I run module this time, right? So enter a number 5, nothing will happen. When you say 5, you check whether 5 is less than 0. No, then you come out to this statement. It will print 5. Let's look at the next one. Let me put -5. So if I put -5, what will happen? You check whether -5 less than 0. Yes, then -5 into -1 becomes +5, right? So simply you print 5. You are getting like this. Right. If you finish up to this point, can you please raise your hands? Right, good, great. Nalin, you need any help? Right, okay, good. We can move to the next one. So this is the simplest statement, and what you need to remember about the indentation. Indentation is very, very important. So if you miss this indentation, or if you make a mistake of proper spacing in Python, you will get an error. Right, let me go back to my code. Right, here is my code. So let me change the spacing. I'll come like this. If I try to run this time, you will get indented. It says expected at, indented block. So which means the default value is 4 spaces, right, like this. So we can say run module, so there's no error, right? So make a note of this. Indentation is very, very important. Now usually some programming languages you have like curly bracket to denote the start and end of a block. But in Python, instead we are using indentation. That means the proper spacing. Okay, so you can lower the hands now. We'll look at another example. So this is a very simple one where we have two tasks to be done in both sides. So in the previous one we had some tasks when condition is equivalent to true, but this time true one thing, false another thing. So the question is, you are getting marks of a subject, and if the marks greater than or equal to 50, then you are going to say pass, otherwise fail. Very simple pass and fail Python program. So let's start. Again, as I told you, if you finish before me, right, you put the answer. So the last time Janita put the answer before me. Okay, right, let's start. I hope the logic is clear, right? So I will start with a new file, right? So what I'm going to do, I have to get the marks. So let's use marks. And then what we have to do, we have to use input function, and with the proper message we can say enter mask, enter marks. Right, now the next one is we need to convert it, right? So depend on whether you are supporting floating point or int, you can use. So for me, let me use int. Right, so now we got the marks. Next, the selection. Okay, so whenever you see the selection, that means selection means the arrows go down, right? This also goes down, this which means this is a selection. So we can start the selection typing if. We can check whether marks greater than or equal to 50. Yes, if you enter, that means true side, we have to print pass. So simply we can say print pass. Yes, so that is true side, we put print pass. Okay, false side means else. Remember, you have to go back to and you get a line with if and then type else. And when you press enter, then the next one. So we can say print, we can have fail. Right, I will repeat from the beginning. So we have to get marks from the user. So we have defined a variable called marks. We use input function to get marks and convert into int value. And then we have a statement. If we check the marks, if it is greater than or equal to 50, we say pass. Otherwise, meaning false, then we are going to say fail, isn't it? Right, now let me run. Now when you say run module, I need to first save. This is program number 6. Pass, fail. Right, let me save. Okay, so it has input marks. Let's say 85. It says pass. Right, now let me run and borderline cases like 50. Is it pass or fail? So anyone in the room? Harita, how about you? If I put 50, what will be the output? Yes, Harshana? Okay, so it's pass because it says greater than or equal. So let me run module. Let's put 25. Yes, what do you expect? If it is 25, it's not greater than or equal to 50, which will give us fail. Right, I hope now you are familiar with both if and else statements in Python. Okay, now I have a small work you to do. I will now look at how to write this. So for this one we have a input int in an input, and then we have a if it is true then we say pass, if it is false we say fail. Okay, the third one I want you to do alone, right? I will give you some time and then we can discuss the answer. The question is, we are going to output state of water depend on the temperature value. So you request the temperature value first, and if it is below 0 then we are going to say ice. If it is between 0 to 100 we are going to say water. Above 100 we are going to say steam. Okay, right, let's start. And those who finish, you can raise your hands. If you have finished coding, you can raise your hands. Okay, we have Saumya, and then Saumya and Janitha already shared. We have Saumya and Janitha shared their answers. Good. Sulochana also shared the answer. Good. Okay, Asela and then Prabhat. Okay, we got Nalin. Right. So you can keep on working. So those who have difficulties, I'll start with you. So I'm going to get a new file. Right. Okay. So first of all, I have to get the temperature value. So I'm going to say temperature, and then I can say input. I can request user to enter temperature value. Right. So that's the first one. So either you can convert to float or int. I don't mind. Right. So right now I put int, but you are always welcome to use float. Right. Then we are here now. Okay, first one we have to check whether the temperature is less than 0. That means it's a selection. How do you know selection? All the arrows going down, right? So it's a selection. If it is true, you go one side. If it is false, the other side, right? So that means we can say if we can say temperature less than 0. You have to have a colon and then press enter, right? Now if it is less than 0, that means this side we have to say print ice. So simply we can say print, I can say ice. That's simple, isn't it? Then if it is not, then the false side. So if it is false means the else part, colon, and then we press enter. Now when you press enter, that means you go to another selection, isn't it? You have another selection. And this time you are checking whether temperature is less than or equal to 100. So here, okay, some of your answers I have seen this. You check whether it's greater than 0. No, you don't have to. Because when you say temperature, is it less than or less than 0? When you say else, it automatically means the opposite. What do you mean by opposite? The temperature is either 0 or more. So that part you don't have to check again. So I have seen some of you have done that, but that's perfectly alright. But remember, you don't have to do this. Whenever you check whether temperature is less than 0, else part means temperature is either 0 or more. So that means you can simply check whether temperature is less than or equal to 100. This is enough. So we have to say if here. Because it's inside this, we have to have if. So we can say else if, then if it is less than 100, we know that it's water, right? It's water. Then else we know print steam, and that's all. So we don't have anything after that, so that's all. So what you can see here, we have one selection here, and then one side, if it is true, we have ice, otherwise we have another selection, so that selection is here. So let me run this, run module. Okay, so let me save. This is program number 7. Yes, temp, right, and then it will ask the temperature value, let's say -5. It says ice. So what happens when you get -5? Is it less than 0? Yes, it will print ice and then it will come out. Yes, run module. So this time I'm going to put 25. It's water. So first of all, you start when you put 25. 25, is it less than 0? No. Then you go to else part. 25, is it less than or equal to 100? Yes. You print water, then you come out. Similarly, when you run, let's say 105. So this time it says steam. So what happens when you say 105? It says no. 105, it says no. You come to else part, you print steam. Okay, so that's the answer. And if you have finished up to this point, can you please raise your hand so that I can move to the next one? Right, thanks. You can lower the hands. But then again, I want to teach another one with this one, use of elif. Because when you have multiple ifs like this, you can simply combine the statement. Else and if, you can combine. And you can say elif. Then, you have to adjust the print statement and the else statement. And again print statement. So in case if you are going to like have a compact representation, instead of else if, you can use elif, right? So let me save. So this is program number 8. I'm going to say temp version 2. Right, and this will be the same. So if I say run module, so I can put -5, yes, true. Run module, we'll have let's say 25, and then run module we have 105. Yeah, so it will be the same thing, but we have more compact representation. Right, if you finish up to this point, can you please raise your hand so that I can move to the next one? Yes, Nahil, have you finished? Nahil Fernando. Chamira Vidyavansha. Okay, in case if you are getting an error, if you don't know how to debug, please copy paste you an error in the chat so that I can help you. Okay, thanks guys. You can lower the hands. We'll move to the next one then. Right. Next one. Now we'll talk about repetitions. Right? So when it comes to repetitions, that means if you want to repeat something, right, multiple times, then we can go for, right, we can go for while statement, right? So for example, let's say I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. This is again, I told you, like very toy problem. So I'm going to try printing multiple of printing 1 to 10. Now simply, if I don't know about the loops, and simply what I could do, I can type it as print 1, print 2, print 3, and so on. I'm kind of lazy, so I will say print 10. But just assume that I have typed 10 times. I could have done this. There's no issue of doing this, right? And perfectly all right. So this is program number 9, right? While. And if you run it, right, we'll get the outcome, right? Nothing wrong with this way of using, but we print multiple times. Now if I ask you to print 1 to 1000, then you are in trouble. This is not going to work. But simply we need to repeat the print statement. So what can we do? So instead of putting 1, we can say a variable, let's say n, or maybe I can say number, right? So we can say something like this, print number, right? And what you can do is, you can say in the beginning, number is 1. Yes. So if you do this, right, it will print 1. The next what you have to do, you increase the value by 1. So in computing we can do this by adding 1 to this, which will increase the current value by 1. And let me copy this again, right? I'll copy this again. Now what will happen? I'll copy this. Yes, if I run it, run module, it will work. 1, 2. So simply what I need to do is, I want to repeat. So what I can do, I can have while statement. What while does? It will repeat based on the condition. If the condition is true, right, so it will repeat whatever the statements within while loop. So what I did is, I will put while true, right, and the 2 statements, and I will run. Okay, can one of you tell me what is the outcome of this? If I do this, what do you see? Yes. Earlier when I had 2 statements 2 times, it print 1 and 2. So now I am going to say while true, and I have these 2 statements. Can anyone guess what might happen? Okay, Prabhat, yes, loops. But what is the output? I know you already know these things, Indika. So in my case, I'm saying that, okay, condition is always true. That's why I put true there. So this is never ending loop. Never ending means it's always true, which means it will print number, it will increase by 1. Again print number, it will increase by 1. Again print number, it will increase by 1. So this is what will happen. Right. Never ending loop. So I have to force the computer by pressing Ctrl C. So which means now we know this code is okay, except that it will not stop by 10, which means we have to make a, change the condition. So now we know we have to do something about the number variable and with 10, because when 10 we need to stop. So what should I type? Yes, within number and 10.
Equal.
Right. Is it okay if I put equal? So when you start number 1, and the condition we are checking whether 1 is equal to 10. No, nothing will happen. So if I do this, it will not work. No output. Yes? Any other answers? Yes, Janita?
Number less than 10.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah. If I put less than 10, what will happen? Okay, let me put less than 10. What will happen if I run module? It will print up to 9. Why 9?
Yes.
Yeah, it will print 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10, is it less than 10? No, it will come out. So it should be less than or
Less than
equal. Yes, exactly. So we need to put it that way. So remember, when you have a while loop, yes. Was there a question? Yeah, Charit gave the correct answer earlier. Yeah, and then what you need to remember is, so whenever you want to loop something, in this case we were printing numbers from 1 to 10, you start with 1 and then you create a loop, and you see in the flowchart, you see the arrow goes up, which means whenever this condition is true, you go in this direction, go up. Again, you check the condition. When the condition is false, you will come out. So that's exactly what will happen. So you start with 1, you check 1, is it less than 10? Yes. You print 1, 1 plus 1 number becomes 2. So the next time number is 2. So you check 2, is it less than 10? Yes. You print 2, 2 plus 1, it's 3. So you go on like this, and let's say you print 9. 9 plus 1, number becomes 10. 10, is it less than or equal to 10? Yes, it's equal to 10. So you print 10. 10 plus 1, you have 11. You check whether 11 is less than or equal to 10. No, false, you will come out, which will print numbers from 1 to 10. So now we have seen, right? So this is how we can print numbers from 1 to 10. One more thing to remember, when you write a loop, there are 3 places you have to look at it. Initialization, the starting value. The second one is the increment or decrement. And the third one is the condition. So whenever you have a while loop, you should look at these 3 places. Okay? If you are clear up to this point, can you please raise your hands? Hishana Beratna, you needed any help on this? Asela? Are you clear? Okay, you can lower the hands. Thanks. Now, small question. I want to print numbers from 1 to 100. What change I should do for this code? Instead of 1 to 10, I want to print numbers from 1 to 100. Which place I should change? Printing numbers from 1 to 100. Yes? You can use chat to answer. Simply, we have to change one place. Which place? Yes, this 10 to 100, isn't it? So simply put 100. Good. So we can say run module. Now it goes from 1 to 100. So I got the correct answers from Prabhat, Nalin and Indika. Another question. I want to print odd numbers from 1 to 100. Which place I should change? Odd numbers. I want to print odd numbers. That means if I start with 1, then I want to print 3, then 5, then 7, finally 99.
Number
Yes?
plus 2.
Exactly. This increment. So after 1, you want to get 3, which means we have to change increment to 2. Good. So let me say run module, which will simply print odd numbers between 1 to 100. Okay, another question. I want to print even numbers from 1 to 100. Which place I should change? Sorry, even numbers.
Initiation.
Yes, initialization. So instead of number 1, I want to put 2, which will print even numbers from 1 to 100. I said 1 to 100, so you can't have 0 because I said 1 to 100, right? Because of that, you can make it 2, right? So you will get even numbers, right? Those who have understood up to this point, can you please raise your hands? This is not that difficult, but syntax might different, but I hope those who have learned programming, you already know this stuff. Okay, that's great. Okay, small exercise, you to try. Last one. I want you to type the code to print numbers from 10 to 1. Okay, you can lower the hands, write the code, and when you finish, please raise your hands. Print numbers from 10 to 1. I want you to write print numbers from 10 to 1. Okay, if you have finished, you can raise your hands. Okay, sorry about the delay. Now in this particular case, we need to get the code. I will use the same code. So it's printing numbers 10 to 1, which means we have to start from 10. That's the first one. The second one, you can subtract 1. Yes. Third one, okay, so we have to stop at 1. That means we have to have number and 1, and we have to check something here, right? So we know we have a number 10, we want to pass it. That means we know that it should be greater than. Then when we have a number 1, that also should pass. So either you can have greater than 0 or greater than equal to 1. You can have it, right? You can have greater than 0 or greater than equal 1, right? In my case, I use that. Okay, so which goes from 10 to 1, right? Okay, you can lower the hands now, and we'll switch to have calculations together with the while loop. To talk about this, I will use a simple example. In that particular case, we are going to use, let's say, I will take a new file. Let's take marks of 10 students, and then we'll calculate the average marks, right? So simply I will do the first part. Average marks you can try. So how do you get marks 10 times? So we can simply use the same thing. We can say number is 1, and while number is less than or equal to 10 times, and simply we said print number, and we can say number equals number 1. So this is a loop. So whatever you have here, if you change it, let's say something like dialog, this will repeat 10 times, isn't it? Right? This will repeat 10 times. Right? Okay, so spelling mistake. Run module. Yes. So it will print 10 times. So you know that with this one you can do anything you want. Now what I want you to do is you get the marks for a subject. So what you could do is you can get marks. So what happens here now? If you say run module, this time I finish to close. Run module, you will get 10 marks. So you repeat 10 times, right? Okay, modify this code to find the average marks of these 10 marks. Yes, shall we start quickly? Now to find the average mark, first of all you have to find the total marks. And since we are getting 1 marks at a time, you have to calculate the total marks iteratively. If you finish, you can raise your hands. Right. Now we need another variable, isn't it? One is we need to get find the total marks, right? Now, like you increase number by 1, you get the existing total, you have to add the current marks. So the statement is something like this. You can say total and then you add current marks to the total. And when you initialize, you have to say, because in the beginning total is 0, right? And then you can finally say, okay, print total, and you can divide by 10 to get the average, isn't it? Yes. Let's run and observe. We can say run module. Yes, we can enter the exactly the same values I am trying to enter, and 29, 89, 67, 35, yes, 60, 72, yes, 63, and then 56. You are getting 566. If you want to go to details, maybe you can have a print statement inside the while loop. We can say print, we can say marks, and total. You can put it like this. So if I rerun, so if I put 36, initially total is 0. So we are getting 36 because 0 plus 36 is 36. Then I put 59. Right? When you put 59 plus 36, I guess I made some mistake. How come it's 95? Yes, it's 95. Okay, 36 plus 59. Yes, 95. So then we have 29 and then 89. That means 89 is added to 124 to get 213. Then we have 67 but 213 we get 280. Then 35, 315. Yes, then we get 375, 72, 447, 63, 510, 56. Yes, that's how we get 566. Right. To get the average, average is total divided by 10. So simply you can say average equals total divided by 10. You can say print average. Okay. If you finish, getting the average, you can raise your hands. Right. Okay, good. Right. Thanks everyone. You can lower the hands. So we are about to finish for today. So we have a small feedback session. Please go to www.menti.com and enter the code 109999234 and tell us the 3 things that you have learned today. Yes, please tell us the 3 things that you have learned today. Okay, we have got 2 responses. We have about 20 in the class. I want everyone to share your feedback, whatever you have learned today's lesson. Okay, about 1/3 of the class responded. Thanks. Your kind, feedback given to us. Yes, there are other half. Please take your time. Okay, few more to go. Yes, we have discussed Boolean. We start with the Boolean data type, and then we have discussed comparison operators, logical operations, and finally we talk about loops, right? So that basically what we have discussed today. I hope now you are comfortable. So the next week we are going to talk about more on for loop. With that one we can finish the control structures part. Right, now having said that, I have one more question. So there are 2 more minutes to go, and I want you to tell us how to improve the delivery, especially things that we can improve by next session. So please tell us your true feedback on how we can improve the delivery of today's lesson. What could I have done better? Yes, you can get recorded lectures. It's in the classroom, Google Classroom. If you have not joined, please join our Google Classroom. I will share the link now. Please. We have already created a Google Classroom. I have put all the things, and previous group actually request some exercises. So I have converted, I have created some sessions as well. Right, so I will share again the Google Classroom code. So please register there, because it's easier for us to manage everyone. So I will share the class code again. So let me share the code. For some weird reason I can't. Yes, the more exercises I have given you in the, I will show you. You can keep on do this. So if I visit my, okay, I will have half screen so that you can keep on responding me. How did I miss this? I'm unable to find my. Okay, so here is what we have. Yes. Right, half of the session I'm going to have. You can always comment. Okay, right. Now, if this is the course I have created, and I will copy the class invite link, I will put it in the chat. Please do visit now and register there. I have put everything what I have covered so far. If you go to classwork, right, I have uploaded all the handouts, all the videos, right? So everything is uploaded there. Please visit, register. Only those who have registered, I have here only 19 registered from both the classes. I think half of you are supposed to register here. Once you register, I can share your marks as well. right? I'm not going to show, but your quiz marks, right, I can share with you. So please register in the Google Classroom created for you, right? I think I took 3 more minutes from your time. So we'll meet tomorrow. We'll start with the for loops, and also we are going to look at jump statements, and if the time permits we are going to look at basic functions. So that's the plan for the tomorrow's sessions. If you have any questions, please, I'll wait, otherwise we can finish for today. Thank you guys. We'll meet tomorrow then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Yeah.